Hello, everybody. Good morning. Wait a minute. Did I hear somebody say we like Mike? No. We love Mike. It's good to be with everybody this morning. I'm Rob Astorino, former Westchester County executive. So it was nice to, I just drove over the Tappan Zee Bridge. So I first got to know Mike a long time ago, really before 2014, but in 2014, Mike ran my campaign for governor. Mike worked for me when I was county executive. And I saw in him then, when he was 27 years old, which is like a year ago, 27 years old, I saw something really special. I saw somebody who was compassionate, was competent, who loved life, who loved people, and could get the job done. And it was one of the best hires I've ever made in my life, and it turned out to be the right decision because look where he is today. So the most important thing for anybody really in public service, it's not about a party, it's about people that you represent, whether it's a councilman, councilwoman, or a congressman. It doesn't matter. So this has nothing to do with Washington. It's nothing to do with Albany. It's everything to do with what's here. And that's what Mike focuses on every single day. How do I make it better for the people I represent? Period. That's it. That's all he thinks about. Trust me. I know. We go out to dinner. It's like, what can I do to make it better for the people? It's really what he thinks about. And I can tell you that it really doesn't matter what your political stripes are, because I know this room right now is full of people of all different political stripes, which is great. My neighbor, let me just bring up Dorothy for a moment. My neighbor Dorothy, dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. We get along, we've known each other forever, we love each other. And she said to me, she goes, you know, I vote straight Democrat, except for one guy. I like that Lawler guy. And she votes for Mike every time. And I think she voted for me, I'm not sure, but I know she voted for Mike. So there's a reason why people get to trust Mike and understand that he's actually representing you, not anything or anyone else, but you. You could see him, he's on Fox, he's on Newsmax, he's on CNN, he's on MS Now, so he's on everything. He's all over the place. In fact, I don't know if you saw when the Artemis dropped, he came out of the capsule. Did you see him? It was amazing. He was there. So he will talk to you because he represents you. And that is the most important thing for someone who we send to Congress to represent us. And that is who you have, and that's who we must keep. This November, we send him back to Washington to represent us. Thank you, Mike, for all you've done so far. It's funny, I don't know if you saw the New York Post today, but my wife said, oh, I was reading the New York Post, there's a big picture of Mike in the New York Post. I said, oh, where? So I opened it up, I said, no, that's Mamdani. Don't they look like? But that's okay, we want Mamdani voters too. It's okay, it's okay. All right, let's get this thing started. We have a whole bunch of speakers. They'll be short. We've timed this out, so we should be out of here no later than 5:30. Now I'm kidding. We will be short, but they're important speakers. And it's important that you hear from the different perspectives, because that's who Mike represents, that's who he talks to, and that's who's represented in this room. All right, we have a Pledge of Allegiance, right? Sir? Where's our veteran? Roy Studi is a veteran of our armed services, and he will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning, everybody. I ask you to please say it loud and proud. Speak with me, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. May God bless America, and may God bless our men and women who are serving now in harm's way. Please keep them in your prayers.
Okay, let's have an invocation. Father Simmons, please come on up.
Thank you. Heavenly Father, our God, we come together today with thankful hearts for the chance to serve, to lead, and to be part of our community and our nation. Please guide us as this campaign begins. Give wisdom to those who seek office, help them make good decisions, and remind them to serve with humility. We pray in a special way for Congressman Mike. Help him be a peacemaker in this community. Give him the grace to listen carefully, to understand different points of view, and to bring people together with respect and kindness. In times of division, give him calm and good judgment. In times of conflict, make him a voice of reason who helps unite neighbors. May his leadership build trust, cooperation, and unity. We also ask you to bless our men and women in uniform, especially those serving in areas of tension, including Iran and around the world. Keep them safe, protect them from harm, and give them courage and peace. Comfort their families and give them strength and hope. Lord, we also thank you for the journey that brings us here today. I stand before you as a proud American citizen, grateful for the path that began in Poland for me. I was born in Poland and became a priest nearly 25 years ago. And I am grateful that this is my new home, United States. I am proud citizen of United States. Thank you. We pray for all of you, our community. God, help us treat one another with respect, seek understanding, and work together for a better future. Remind us that we are stronger when we stand united and care for each other. Keep everyone here safe and bring peace to our nation. May this campaign be guided by fairness, respect, and unity. God bless Congressman Mike. God bless America. Amen.
Thank you. Rabbi Gams? Rabbi here? There we go. Thank you.
As we gather here today in support of Congressman Mike Lawler, we pause to recognize not only his leadership, but the real and lasting impact he continues to have on our community and beyond. Mike is not just a representative, he is a tireless advocate for every person in his district. His leadership is not measured by words alone, but by action, by his willingness to listen, to show up, and to fight for the people that he serves. He has built a reputation as someone who is accessible, responsive, and deeply committed to the well-being of all his constituents. At the same time, his leadership reflects a broader vision. In his work in addressing the complex challenges in the Middle East, he has played a meaningful role in strengthening alliances, reinforcing the bond between the United States and Israel, and advancing efforts towards stability and peace with clarity and determination. He has helped confront serious threats, support cooperation among nations, and contribute to a safer, more secure world. We are especially grateful for the courage that our Congressman has shown in standing up for Israel and in confronting anti-Semitism at a time when it's not always easy to speak with moral clarity. He has done so, yeah, give him a hand for that. He has done so with conviction and, more importantly, with action. And that leadership brings strength, reassurance, and hope to so many. On a personal level, Congressman Lawler has been a steadfast supporter and a true friend to our community, and for that, we are deeply grateful. I humbly offer a prayer filled with gratitude and hope. Sovereign of the world, as Congressman Mike Lawler has been chosen to make laws and decisions on behalf of the citizens of District 17, bless him with wisdom and understanding in his noble pursuit of justice and equality. Guide him always to be mindful of your presence and to lead with honesty, integrity, and a deep sense of responsibility, striving to act in accordance to your will. Bless Congressman Mike Lawler, his wife Doina, and their daughters Juliana and Elizabeth with life, health, strength, and peace. Grant him clarity of mind, strength of spirit, and the courage to stand firmly for what is right and the ability to bring people together in the pursuit of peace and unity. As my teacher and my mentor, the Rebbe, would often remind us, that even a small light has the power to push away great darkness. May we all carry that message forward, that our district be a beacon of light for all, and may the one who makes peace on high bring peace to our nation and to all of humankind, and let us say, Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi. Okay, let me bring up some speakers because they're a sample of who Mike represents and who he's helped, and they want to just give their own testimony to why they support Mike. Christine Pacone, please come up from the Mayapack Carmel Chamber of Commerce.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christine, and I am the chairwoman of the Mayapack Carmel Chamber of Commerce over in Putnam County. I know our district is represented here today, and Putnam County is represented as well as Westchester. I run a small business also over in Putnam County. I am a realtor. And every single day, we all wake up, open our doors, pay our employees, and try to make it work. I'm here today because making it work in New York has gotten harder, a lot harder. The cost of energy, the cost of regulations, the taxes that pile up before you sell a single thing. Albany keeps passing bills and sending us the invoice. Most of the time, nobody in Washington picks up the phone, but Mike does. Last fall, more than 100 small businesses on Route 9, right here in Rockland County, were being crushed by a construction project that allowed to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Those business owners were losing everything, an estimated $10 million in revenue, and nobody was coming to help. Mike Lawler held a press conference. He stood before those business owners and told New York State that what they were doing was unacceptable. He demanded compensation. He did not have to do that, but he did it because of who he is. And in Washington, when Congress was about to let 20% small business tax deduction expire, which would have pushed New York's small business tax rates to 50%, Mike Lawler fought to make it permanent. The National Federation of Independent Business, the nation's leading small business organization, ran ads right here in this district, thanking him by name. He earned a 100% voting record with them. They endorsed him for re-election. And it was not just numbers on paper. He went to Di Maria's restaurant in Valley Cottage, a family-owned Rockland County business, and sat down with the employees to talk about what that tax relief actually meant to them. This is what showing up looks like. He doesn't make promises, he makes calls, he shows up, he delivers. The Mahopac Carmel Chamber of Commerce represents the businesses that employ your neighbors, coach your kids' teams, and sponsor every Little League sign on every field in Putnam County. We do not endorse politicians lightly. We are here today because Mike Lawler has earned it. This district needs a fighter in Washington, someone who knows that when a small business closes, a community loses something, it does not always get back. Mike Lawler knows that, and he fights and he knows it. We're proud to stand with him, and we're ready to fight to make sure he goes back to Washington in November. On a personal note, I can tell you that I'm thankful that Mike comes to Putnam County, marches in our parades, shakes everyone's hand, says hello to everybody, and he's genuine. He doesn't do that just because he's looking for a vote. That's who he is, and I'm very happy that he's so approachable. I know I can call his office when I need to speak to him and get some answers and help keep our small businesses open. Thank you. Next up, George Fulch.
Sorry, give me a second. I wrote so many papers that I don't even know which one I'm going to use. Okay. My name is Jorge Luis Fulch. I'm a retired town of Haverstraw police officer, and I'm also a resident of the town of Haverstraw for 44 years. Buenas tardes, estoy aquí porque Mike Lawler ha demostrado con hechos que se preocupa por nuestra comunidad. You guys look all lost now, but I'm going to translate it in English. I'm here today because I have personally seen what it looks like when a congressman actually shows up for the people he represents. The family I know in this community are not asking for much. They want to pay their bills, buy groceries, and fill their gas tanks, and still have money for their rents and mortgages, okay? This is not a Republican or a Democratic issue. This is a Rockland County issue, and Mike Lawler gets that. When the cost of living was crushing families in this district, Mike Lawler was fighting in Washington to get money back in people's pocket. The SALT deduction, tax relief for working families, real dollars, back in real hands right here in this community. He did not ask the party you belong to. He didn't ask where were you born. He didn't ask, he just wanted to know what we needed, and he went to work, which you have. Thank you, Mike. And when some tried to pass a law that would have stopped our local police from coordinating with federal law enforcement, a statutory policy that men and women of the Rockland County PBA said would make their jobs harder and our streets less safe, Mike Lawler stood up and said no. He stood at Clarkstown Hall with our law enforcement officers and made it clear Rockland County stands with its police officers. Our community depends on public safety, our business depends on it, our family depends on it. Mike Lawler understands that, and he showed up. Thank you, Mike, again for that. And this is what representation looks like. Somebody like Mike. Thank you, Mike. Always being there. And that's why I'm here. I am proud to stand here today and say Mike Lawler has earned mine and the support of this community, and I am asking you to stay with him in November. Gracias, and have a great day. We're gonna have Dr. Mark Geller up next.
Good morning, everybody. I think I know many of you, but for those who don't, I'm Dr. Mark Geller, President and CEO of Montefiore Nyack Hospital. We're the largest employer in Rockland County. I've had the great pleasure, in my role over the last 10 to 12 years, working with Mr. Lawler, first in his position in Orangetown, then in the Assembly, and ultimately in Congress. And we've done some really, really good things together. Mike, he does the hard work. He often bucks his own party to do the right thing for the community, for healthcare, for the quality of life in Rockland County, New York State, and for the nation. So he's always in pursuit of doing the right thing. And we've worked together on a number of initiatives that are, I would say, bipartisan, that are common sense, that are incremental, that are focused on doing the right thing and taking care of our community. And I'll tell you, Mr. Lawler has been extraordinarily successful in advocating for you, for your health care, for our health care, for Rockland County, and for New York State. And I'll just give you some examples of things that the Congressman has advocated for. He has been an advocate for not cutting Medicaid and Medicare, which is important to all of us. I just want to thank Mr. Lawler for that position. At his own peril, he was an advocate for not decreasing the ACA subsidies, and I want to thank him for taking that very tough position. Thank you, Mike. And there are numerous things you don't hear about that Mike does in support of you all. He was an advocate for and got passed the HEAL Act, which lowered healthcare costs for traveling physicians, doctors in our borders, getting more support for doctors in our ERs, provider access, reproductive health. He's sponsored a bill to have support for those folks who can't afford IVF on their own, to help support them, work to do Medicaid funding. One thing that was extraordinarily supportive for the state and for everybody here was expansion of the MCO tax for New York State. That was initially something that had disappeared in prior legislation. Mike was able to advocate for that, and I think, pretty much on his own, was able to get this done, which brought $1 billion back to New York State to put into healthcare, which supports all of us. Huge. That was a major win for all of us. Other things, the hospitals in Rockland County are safety net hospitals. There's a program called 340B, which is extraordinarily supportive to the safety net hospitals. It helps us keep our lights on and our doors open. Mike has been a tremendous advocate for that as well, and we do appreciate that. Mike is a convener. He brings people together. Mike told me that, the Congressman told me that he was going to bring Dr. Oz to the community, and I said, sure, he'll bring Dr. Oz to the community. Well, sure enough, about 3-4 months ago, he brought Dr. Oz to the community and brought all the major health leaders, not only in his district, but in the metropolitan area, together to listen to our issues, to have Dr. Oz there in the flesh and listening. And I will tell you, a lot of good things came from that meeting. Dr. Oz heard us. He worked on a number of things that were very supportive of us, not the least of which was the MCO tax. So Mike brings people together. Across party lines to find common sense solutions to the benefit of everybody in this room. And I want to thank the Congressman for his partnership, continued good work together in support of you all. So thank you very much.
Stephen Reich from Local 754.
All right, boy, it's blinding. I'm a little bit a newbie at this stuff, but I'm just going to kind of quickly go over what really made myself and also my membership see Mike right from the beginning and back him right from the start. So, as said, my name's Stephen Reach. I represent the Labor 754 here in Rockland County. We're a private sector building and construction trades council with our union member, with about 500 members that primarily work in Rockland County on all aspects of heavy highway utility and building construction. I met Mike before he ran for New York State Assembly. I met him through Teresa. He was working, trying to bring us on Teresa's board. And we were trying to get an apprenticeship in Orangetown. We're still working on it, but we're talking. But me personally, I recognized his leadership qualities, his innate understanding of the struggle middle-class workers face daily. And when he decided to run representing the 97th district against an entrenched Democrat and against, we got a lot of heat for it, but I went to my members and we were immediately on board from the beginning. As that campaign started, it was obvious that we made the right choice. His grasp of issues, extremely high level of intelligence, and extraordinary work ethic resulted in him winning the seat. Once in the Assembly as a member of a minority party, he showed a keen understanding of how government works and how to get the best edge for his constituents, but all the time staying true to his support for middle class, worker, and union standards. His steadfast support for apprenticeship standards, prevailing wage protection, project labor agreements, and other pro-worker standards, it's locked in. His support for our local and our union has been unwavering, and that's the truth. So, going forward, his run for the 17th Congressional District was even more of a, you guys are crazy, it's never gonna happen. And we were trying to get him to do it long before he even thought he could. Because his opponent, especially with all the thing, his opponent was equally supportive of unions and working people, and he was a damn good representative. But again, Mike prevailed when conventional wisdom thought otherwise, and he went straight to work. Now he's part of the majority. His view on unions, workers, and bipartisan policy that benefits all Americans has not exactly been the fast track to gaining party favor, for sure, but Mike never wavered. He's worked hard to bring funding and support for infrastructure planning. Sorry about the gum, I just get a dry mouth. Planning and spending to the district, most recently delivering $12 million in community project funding, $33 million in local project investment. And being a Rockland County only small labor's local, this funding is critical for every town, every municipality, from the biggest to the smallest. And it's also critical to the men and women I represent, as it funds the infrastructure improvements and investment that puts food on their tables and the food on other working class people here in Rockland County. So it's immensely needed, especially in offsides when big projects, there's a lull in between. On the legislative side, Mike's also working to protect worker rights from further erosion by hostile forces in the country. He supported a discharge position to force a vote on the Protect America's Workforce Act, which passed and is being sandbagged in the Senate. He also supports the PRO Act, which is a crucial bill to protect workers' right to organize. Straight up, Mike is one of the few Republicans in Congress that is truly supportive of worker wage and benefit standards, as well as a worker's right to join a union and collectively bargain. I cut this a little bit, but it's a huge point for us. I also need to point out, Mike has shown incredible leadership by trying to tackle the dark cloud that's reigned on this country and worker freedom for decades, and that's immigration policy. His willingness to bring debate and open is what real leaders do. His support for strict control of the border was spot on and absolutely must be maintained. But we as a nation, we need to move to the next stage of this and make common sense immigration policy that's going to benefit the country, workers, and everybody at large. One that'll stay in place regardless of who's in office, because that's the biggest problem with it all. It's a political football, and we all know it. Mike's support of the Dignity Act is a breath of fresh air in his first step in dealing with this difficult problem. It's like seeing Mike get hammered by news outlets and radicals from both the right and the left exposes how deep the rot is and how bad the immigration policy as is terrible. This needs to be debated and addressed now without rhetoric so we can get a streamlined process resulting in common sense policy that encompasses the values that built this great nation and is in the nation's best interest. And Mike's trying to get the debate out there so we can. I mean, we need to talk about this, everybody in this country, and make it happen, one way or the other. This debate needs to be taken, and Mike hasn't run away from it. And again, that's what real leaders do, Mike. That's what they do. And just in closing, real quick, whether Mike is in the majority or the minority, not having him represent the 17th district, it'll be a huge loss to us all. We need bipartisan, sensible representatives from both parties to get us on track and save our democracy from tribalism and get our Congress back to doing the job that the Constitution requires them to do. And that's draft, debate, compromise, and enact logical policy that builds strength in our society. And Mike is the type of leader, regardless of party, that is the kind of guy you want in there to do it, period. It's impossible not to see. And in closing, this is why Labor's Local 754 supported Mike Lawler in the beginning. This is why we are supporting Mike Lawler for Congress, representing the 17th district in this November. And just like, thank you. And as the man said to start, God bless America, and God bless our men and women who are serving overseas. Thank you.
Ripke Feiner from Ramapo.
At first, when I was first speaking, I was like, it's like a lot of liberal Democrats at a pipeline rally. I was like, nobody's excited. But now we're getting going. Where are we here? Philip Valenti, he's the, represents the supervisors for the transits, right? TWU, come on.
To get me out of here from Suffolk County on a Sunday morning, you know Mike Lawler must be good. And I found out today he's half Italian, so I like him even more. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Philip Valenti, president of the Transport Workers Union Local 106, Transit Supervisors Organization. I'm also here today with representatives from TWU, Local 225, and Local 1400. I'm here on behalf of John Samuelson, International President of the Transport Workers Union and the TWU New York State Conference, representing 70,000 hardworking men and women who keep America moving, keep New York moving. We are here to officially endorse Mike Lawler for re-election to the House of Representatives. Mike has proven to be a true friend of labor. Mike's support and name on the Railroad Safety Act of 2023 cemented his position with the TWU. Mike has earned the support of the TWU because he has consistently done the right thing for our members. On Election Day, the TWU and all of our members will show our support by going out and voting for Mike Lawler and sending Mike back to Congress. And if you care about America and the state of New York, you will do the same thing and vote for Mike Lawler. Thank you.
I thought they were security. I mean, look, right? Thank you for your endorsement. That is very meaningful. Very, very meaningful. Rivki Feiner from Ramapo, come on up.
Hi, my name is Rivki Feiner. I'm a lifelong Rockland County resident. I've known Congressman Mike Lawler since he ran for Assembly in 2020, and I've been with him ever since. Prior to his winning in Assembly, I did vote for a Democratic candidate when I thought that that was the best person at the time, but I haven't looked back. Why do I support him? I'm not going to talk about his many congressional wins. Only a few, it would take too much time, of the ones that are personal and really, really have stood out. First of all, he's nicknamed Mr. Salt, which he earned. Yeah, I love it. And he fought so hard. It was a promise he made and a promise he kept. He was thrown every curveball. He never stood down. He didn't stop until he delivered. And as a small business owner, he also ensured that PTET protection stayed intact. And to the many, many small businesses in this district, that's critical as well. As a mother, grandmother, and as a woman, I truly appreciate his support for IVF access and affordability. He shared his personal story about having a miscarriage with his wife, Doina, and they have 2 lovely little girls. And he pushes hard for this because he wants others to have the opportunity to be able to start their own families, and I appreciate that as well. The constituent services that have come out of his office are unsurpassed. There's truly no other word. His entire team, both here and in DC, are exceptional. I have not yet met one who is not. And they deliver every day for their constituents like never seen before. He's brought top level people from the administration to this district. Just recently, Secretary Besson on Friday. And he brings the voices of this district to Washington, and he literally brings those people to us to hear. And we haven't seen that before either. On a personal level, Operation Epic Fury, when it started, my 18-year-old son and my young married couple were stuck in Israel. All flights were canceled. There was no way to get out of the country. The airport was closed. I can't begin to tell the feeling of helplessness when I wanted my kids to come back to the US for Passover to be with our family. His office worked around the clock to help get them out. My 18-year-old son was able to get on a flight to Athens on a rescue flight with standing room only, and I can't tell you, his staff, they're not 9 to 5 people. They are around the clock. From early morning to late at night, I was miserable, couldn't sleep, went as a zombie to work, and I can't begin to explain, truly heartfelt for what they did. And mine is not the only story. There were many, many hundreds of others that they helped, but it's critical that people in this community understand who Mike Lawler is and his entire team. And as a grandmother, on a personal note, Congressman Lawler visited Yeshiva Spring Valley, one of the local schools in our district. It's an over 80-year-old school where 3 of my grandsons go. He was a superstar. If I would tell you, the word in Hebrew is nachat. I had joy, pride, watching him go around. I can't begin to describe it. The kids literally ran over to him. Can you autograph? They were asking for his autographs. Kids don't have phones. They're not taking selfies. They literally lifted him off the ground when they saw him. To my 6-year-old grandson knew who he was, and Mike got down on one knee to take a picture with him. That's who he is. And the coolest was his suffering high school teacher is now a teacher in that same school. And when Congressman Mike Lawler came in, he said to them, Congressman Lawler used to sit in the front desk in my classroom. You should have seen these kids' faces. He was giving them hope. He spent time. He cares about education. He cares about all the things that matter to us. He fights for religious freedom, against anti-Semitism, securing our communities, affordability. He backs the blue. He supports Israel. We all must continue to support him. He stands up for what's right. He stands with us. We haven't had such congressional representation in over 20 years since Congressman Ben Gilman. We must support Mike Lawler. We can't afford not to. So I just urge everyone in this room, we're supporters here. Reach out to your friends, your family, your colleagues, and tell them why this is a critical race. We need to get everyone we can. Thank you.
In other words, he's a mensch. That's a good word. I was told that's a good word. No, it's a good word. All right, Brendel Logan Charles is the Deputy Supervisor in Ramapo. Brendel.
Good afternoon, Rockland. Come on, good afternoon, Rockland. Let's go. Thank you, Risky, for getting the party started. This is a kickoff, so we need to have some energy in the room, yes? All right, so let's get the energy going so we can get from here all the way to November and get those voters out there to vote for Mike Lawler for Congress. So many things have been said, and I don't want to repeat some things, but I do want to touch on and make sure that everybody is clear about the accomplishments that are most important to all of us. I, too, am a grandmother, and my kids and grandkids all know when they see Mike on the TV, they're like, Nana, your friend is on the TV. That's because Mike is everywhere. And I want to just thank his wife for being so patient and understanding, because he could be home, but he's here with us. And his mother, she raised an amazing son. Thank you for all that he does and that you've brought him to us. At the end of the day, yes, I'm a Democrat. I know what all of you are thinking here. Yes, I am. And yes, I do represent Ramapo proudly for 14 years. And I can tell you that I have been disappointed with my Democratic colleagues in Washington, because you have to sit down, roll up your sleeves, and figure it out for us. Figure out how to get deductions with SALT for our homeowners. Figure out how to have no tax on your tips, no tax on wages. How many people need extra money in their pockets right now? Right? Okay, we all do. We all have children and grandchildren. We can do things when we have extra money. We can put them in sports and we can send them to programs that otherwise we wouldn't be able to. We don't have to have our senior citizens, which I am one of, decide whether we can buy our prescription drugs or our food, because we need both to live. Am I right? Okay. And the investment for young children now. So later on, when they decide to buy a car or they decide to get a home, whatever they want to do, we are teaching them financial literacy and stability now, not later on. They don't have to figure it out, because Mike Lawler is in Congress figuring it out for us right now. This is not just about a Democrat and Republican issue. I have many, many Republican friends that I can call on, state level, local level, and of course, congressional level. Because the lesson here is that we have to work together. Otherwise, we will not be able to take care of our families. We will not be able to do the things that we want to do to have a better quality of life. Mike Lawler has done the work. Can you say that with me? He has done the work. And when you do the work, that's who you vote for. I'll see you all the way in November. Let's get Mike Lawler to Congress.
Let's bring in Lauren Mayor Wall from Clarkstown.
Vice Chair, but I also have the biggest social media platform in Rockland County. So we're gonna do a little experiment right now. I want every person that has a sign to hold it up, okay? And I want everyone on this side to stand up. Everybody in this room needs to be on their feet for me right now. If you don't have a sign, give me a thumbs up. And we're gonna do a nice picture for social media. And I want everyone on the count of 3 to scream, Mike Lawler. 1, 2, 3. Mike Lawler! Got that, Kenzie? All right, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm honored to be here today to talk to you about the Mike Lawler that I know. Mike Lawler is not just a congressman. He's a son, he's a brother, he's a husband,
a dad, and I'm proud to call him my close friend. Before I was elected into office, yes, I'm an elected official too. I wear a lot of hats, guys. Before I was elected into office, I was a local activist for years. I'm still a local activist. In 2020, the year that the Democrats went on their defund the police bender, Mike Lawler, who was running for assembly at the time, was participating in a Back the Blue rally in Pearl River. He came to me and he asked me if I would be interested in speaking as a Leah wife to give my perspective. That speech changed my life. And the rest for me was history with Mike, or better yet, it was just the beginning. In 2022, Mike calls me one day, I'm sitting on my couch, and he says, "Hey, Laura, I think I want to run for Congress." Well, I took a deep breath and said, "You're serious, aren't you?" We both laughed, and somehow I ended up on that campaign 7 days a week, but I did it because I had faith in him. I had a feeling it could be done. And boy, oh boy, did he do the unthinkable. We did the unthinkable. He won, the whole team won. I knew in that moment that everything had changed. It was like nothing I had ever seen before. Here we were, this grassroots campaign, screaming about Chef Boyardee and $10 chicken cutlets, and here we are beating the DCCC chairman. I mean, come on. It was one of those moments that you just knew was gonna go down in history, and I was very honored to be a part of it. Since Mike has taken office, it's been a really wild ride, never a dull moment. But his spirit hasn't died. His resolve remains firm. His sacrifice has been bottomless, and he hasn't forgotten where he came from and who he is. This man has taken more slings and arrows than anyone I have ever met in my life. And let me make this clear. I am proud to stand and take those arrows right alongside him. He has stood up for NY17. He has laid himself down to make sure we get what we need in this district, regardless of the repercussion. And that, folks, is what I call a true leader. Politics is a blood sport in so many ways. The crown is really heavy at times. And I don't think people truly understand what this man has endured during his tenure. So I'm gonna speak the truth, because I believe you all need to hear it. He's been threatened, he's been verbally abused, he's been ridiculed, he's been lied on, and still he stands firm in his mission. I don't care how strong someone is, at some point, it gets to you. And yet he keeps going, he stands strong, and there is really something to be said for that. There really is, Mike. Here's a man who was not born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and the universe has surely tested him throughout his younger years. And still, here's someone who rose like a phoenix from the ashes, who became a man who puts everything on the line to fight for his constituents. He didn't take this job to become some swamp creature in DC. He won that race so he could go in and fight the war that makes our lives better. And that is exactly what he did, and I want to thank him for that. Mike has done more and been more present for this district than both his predecessors combined. However, he is but one person, and there is no I in team. We are living in uncertainty of times, and this is going to be one of the most memorable elections we have seen in some time. So today I stand before you, and I beseech you to trust him, to support him, and stand with him every step of the way. Welcome to the battle of NY17. We have your back, Mike Lawler. Let's give it up for Mike Lawler. Loud! Thank you.
So yeah, we did go through all that defund nonsense. And thank God, many Democrats, independents, and Republicans stood firm against that craziness of defunding our police officers and law enforcement who keep us safe. Detective Patrick Casey, please come up here and represent the boys and girls of blue, men and women of blue.
Well, everybody, on behalf of Sean O'Connor, President of Rockland County PBA, we are happy to stand here with Mike Lawler. We're happy that we've been here since the beginning when he was with one staffer running for state assembly. Back then, it was easy to get a hold of Mike, and today it's still easy to get a hold of Mike, and that's just a contribute to how that just shows you the type of person Mike is. I know there's some other union officials out there, Ed Geary from the New York City Sergeants Benevolent Association. All of us in the police world find ourselves under attack day in and day out, and it's people like Mike Lawler that answer the phone when we call, just like he did years ago when he was just trying to get into his first elected seat. So we're very happy to be with Mike. On a personal note, I'm not here as a Republican. I'm here as a police officer and as a police union official, and also as a lifelong resident of Rockland. And I don't think we've ever had this type of support behind a Republican official in this county, and it's something that we need to continue to take well into November on behalf of Mike and the entire team. On another note, when it comes to the actual operations of policing, Mike has been there for all our departments, from the Sheriff's Department to the 5 towns, to all the villages, bringing in funding that is needed to keep Rockland one of the safest places to live. No offense, Mr. Blakeman, but we're pretty safe up here, and we're pretty happy in our police structure and all our police departments up here. So that is the type of stuff that doesn't get done without the money coming in from Washington. And I could echo what a lot of people said, and Mr. Estorino, I think, said it best, is Mike is still the same guy he was when he was 27. He's still the same guy I knew back in Manhattan College when we were in our late teens and early 20s, and slightly better facial hair he has now. But we're very happy to be with you, Mike. On behalf of Sean O'Connor, the men and women protecting you here in the Clarkstown Police Department, which we thank, and all the other cops in Rockland County, we're here with Mike Lawler. Thank you.
So Patrick and Mike went to college together. You hear that? Do tell. All right. We are at the main event. So there is a big race across New York State today. Coming up in November, the race has begun, and it is for the top spot. It is for governor of New York. And this is a race that can be won, must be won, and will be won. Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman has done a terrific job in Nassau County. I mean, a really terrific job. Now, I've known Bruce a very long time. He is an honorable man. He fights for his county, and he will fight for everybody in this room. It doesn't matter, again, where your head or heart are coming from. As long as you're a New Yorker, he is going to fight for you. So, in my best Long Island, from Nassau County, let's bring up Bruce Blakeman.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. It's great to be in Lawler land, right? Thank you all. First of all, I want to thank Rob Astorino for his many years of service to this state. He's a great guy. As you know, he's now a big media personality, and he's in the private sector now, and that's why he looks so much younger, tan, rested, and ready. But thank you very much, Rob. Thank you. I also want to recognize my running mate, She is a brilliant lawyer. She was a crime fighter in the U.S. Attorney's Office, and she's going to make a great Attorney General. Saritha Kamareddy, thank you for being with us. And it's great to be with our Assembly and Senate delegations here. Matt, AJ, Bill, thank you. We are going to work together to save this state. Thank you all for your service. So, Mike, his story and my story are about the same. I was elected in a county that had 110,000 more registered Democrats. Mike was elected in a congressional district with 80,000 more registered Democrats. And not only did we win, but we win decisively. And why is that? Because as we attend to our responsibilities in government, we realize that we are there to protect everybody's community, to make sure that all our communities are affordable and prosperous. Today here, looking around, we have every race, every religion, every ethnic group, people of all abilities, all lifestyles, small business people, organized labor, joined together with one common purpose: to make this a better state and to make this a better country. When I travel around the state, people are miserable. They're miserable with the overtaxation, the overregulation that has brought us to the bottom of economic development. A governor that's pro-criminal. Energy costs that are 50% higher than the national average. And working together with Mike Lawler, we are going to cut your electric bills in half. We are going to cut your taxes. We're going to make it more affordable. And we are going to back the blue. You know, I had the opportunity to see firsthand the courage of Mike Lawler when we both stood together at Columbia University against the paid thugs that were engaged in anti-Semitic acts of violence, harassment, occupying buildings, taking over neighborhoods, blocking roadways and bridges. And Mike stood tall. He was a man of courage, and he still is a man of courage, and that's what we need in Congress. Now, Mike, coming from Long Island, or as Rob says I say it, Long Island, coming from Long Island, I have to say that we are very blessed and fortunate that we had a leader like Mike Lawler to get that deduction for salt from $10,000 now to $40,000, thanks to his hard work and effort. So, we've got many great things to do. We have important work. We need to make sure that we have an affordable state, a state that's safe. We respect our law enforcement professionals. We thank our firefighters and EMTs. And we are blessed to have veterans that make us a safe country. But this is about not only us. As I look around the room, I see the children. I see these two beautiful children here. I think about my kids. I think about my grandchildren. We are at a tipping point. We need to elect people who reflect our American values, the same values that our parents and our grandparents taught us. We need to get back to common sense principles and let common sense rule the day in Washington and Albany. I am looking forward to the day that not only will we have sealed borders as we have now, but that we will have a common sense immigration program that recognizes that people who have been here for years and years and years, who are gainfully employed and never got in any trouble, that there has to be a legal way for them to continue to work. We will have a stronger New York. We will have a stronger America because we will stand together and we will do everything within our power to get into this fight. Just like my parents did in World War II. Both my parents were World War II veterans. My father said my mother didn't want to be left out of a good fight, so she joined the Army. But our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, they fought for us so that we would have a better life than they did. And now we have to do that by electing Mike Lawler to serve another term in the United States Congress. Mike Lawler.
Well, it's now probably good afternoon. So good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here with all of you, and I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out today. I want to thank all of my team, my staff, on both the official side and the campaign side for all of their hard work. Please give them a round of applause. I want to thank all of our party leaders, our county chairs. Especially want to thank Sam Namath and the Conservative Party of Rockland County for their support. I want to thank all of our elected officials who are here today. There's a lot of you, so if you could just raise your hand, stand up, be recognized. We appreciate everything that you do day in, day out to support all of our constituents across this district. I want to thank all of those who spoke today on my behalf. Really, I'm humbled by your words, by your support, and really appreciate that you guys are here to offer those words, because I can tell you, 3 years into this, it ain't easy. It ain't easy, and you can't do it alone. You need a team, you need support, and you need people who are gonna be standing there right in the breach with you. And all of you are here today to do just that. So thank you very much for everybody being here. Folks, our country is at a crossroads. And the men and women who sit in the House of Representatives next January will have a significant impact on the future direction that we take. And the choice in this election, in this district, is clear. You can choose someone who has consistently been rated as one of the most bipartisan and effective members of Congress, someone who has demonstrated a willingness to challenge his own party and even the president in order to get things done for the people that he represents, someone who gets results. Or we can elect an out-of-touch, angry, far-left Democrat who has supported raising your taxes and returning to open border and sky-high inflation policies. A Democrat who has attacked law enforcement and puts the rights of criminals before your own, and a Democrat whose victory would further cement the grip of failed one-party rule here in New York. Rewarding the likes of Kathy Hochul or Zohran Mamdani or AOC or Chuck Schumer or any other who are actively destroying our once great state by making it the least affordable place to live, work, or retire in America. We don't need more of that. We need less of it. We need more common sense in Washington. and fewer elected Democrats statewide in New York, and that's why we need to elect Bruce Blakeman as our next governor. And it's why we need to elect Saritha Kematareddy as our next Attorney General. Folks, I am proud to stand before you today and announce that I am running for re-election, and we are going to win in November. Now, there's currently 5, it was 6 until a few days ago, but there's 5 opponents running in the Democratic primary, all vying to face me in November. And there are a few things they have in common. One, their ideas are radical and extreme. Folks, these aren't your grandparents' Democrats. The Democratic Party of JFK and Truman, heck, even Bill Clinton, is dead. And it's been replaced by increasingly socialist party of Mamdani and AOC. They talk about affordability and the cost of living, but every single one of them is opposed to the working family's tax cut, which saves the average Hudson Valley family over $4,000 this year alone. They were opposed to no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. They were opposed to expanding the child tax credit. What they wanted was to give you the largest tax increase in American history. And I wasn't gonna have any of it. We fought and fought and fought, and we delivered the single largest tax cut in American history. Three, they all support dangerous sanctuary state and city policies for criminal illegal immigrants, and they want to return to the days of completely unchecked open borders where violent gang members and illegal drugs like fentanyl poured into our country in record numbers and poisoned our neighbors, friends, and loved ones. And folks, if you don't believe me, in their own debate, they all called to abolish ICE and CBP. They want illegals to flood back into our country. It is wrong, and as long as I am standing in this seat, I will not yield. We have seen the murder rate plummet to the lowest level since 1900. Why? Because we back the blue and support enforcing the rule of law. For the first time in years, the number of fentanyl overdoses has declined. Why? Because we're actually taking on the cartels, and President Trump labeled them exactly what they are, a terrorist organization, and he is taking it to them. Now, all of us here in Rockland County know Rockland County is home to police, and fire, and EMS, and veterans. And I am proud of the fact that in my district, 50% of households have a cop, a firefighter, a veteran, a first responder living in the household. So when one of my opponents, Beth Davidson, proposed making Rockland County a sanctuary county, We mobilized quick and we defeated it within 1 week's time. It is dead and we will never let it come back. When you look at what has happened with Joe Biden's open border policies, 10.5 million people flooded into this country. And we see the consequences of it. An 18-year-old girl, Sheridan Gorman, from Yorktown, her whole life ahead of her, brutally murdered by an illegal immigrant that was detained at the border, released into this country, arrested for committing a crime in Chicago, and because of their disastrous criminal justice policies, like New York, that man was released back out onto the streets only to execute this 18-year-old girl. And yet my opponents want to make Rockland a sanctuary county. They want to make ICE and CBP abolished. We cannot stand for it. We are a nation of laws, and we are a nation of immigrants. But you have to have an immigration system that works. Open borders and sanctuary cities must be ended, and they must be ended once and for all. Now, as Steve pointed out, I believe in real immigration reform. My wife is an immigrant. My wife came to this country in search of a better life. And so many in this room came to this country in search of a better life. And we need an immigration system that works. And I will fight to actually reform this system that has been broken for 40 years. But you don't fix it with open borders. You don't fix it with sanctuary jurisdictions. You don't fix it by abolishing ICE. That is what my opponents want, and I will not stand for it. Now, 4, my opponents cower to the anti-Semitic, anti-Israel, and in many respects, anti-American elements of their insane and reckless political base, who would rather see America fail and our enemies succeed. In this moment, I have members of Congress who are openly rooting for Iran. They are openly rooting for the terrorist regime to succeed because they hate President Trump so much that they want us to fail. It is insane, and it has to stop. As chair of the Middle East and North Africa, I have spent an enormous amount of time focused on establishing peace and stability in the Middle East. We want everyone to live in freedom. We don't want anyone to be oppressed. But the oppressor is not America. The oppressor is not Israel. The oppressor is Iran and its terror proxies, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and others. And I cannot, for one, understand how we have members of Congress or candidates running for office that are actually calling to defund support for Iron Dome. They don't seem to grasp a few basic things. Number one, there's over 700,000 Americans living in Israel. When Iran and its proxies talk about from the river to the sea, they're talking about eradicating the state of Israel, but what they're really talking about is eliminating Jews. What they're really talking about is death to America. It is imperative that we stand up for the Judeo-Christian values that are at the core of our country, the core of our Constitution, the rights and freedoms are based on the Bible. It means standing up for the principles and the ideals and the values that we believe in. And that is why I will never relent in standing up for the state of Israel and the one Jewish state. Israel is a beacon of opportunity, of freedom, of hope, of democracy. It is the only democracy in the Middle East. Folks, the relationship between the United States and Israel is unbreakable because our countries are founded in the same Judeo-Christian values. And as Bruce talked about, I will not yield when it comes to combating anti-Semitism. Jew hatred is a scourge on society, as is a hatred and bigotry of Christianity. It must end. And finally, as I've listened to this Democratic primary for well over a year, what troubles me the most about it is that these Democrats don't just disagree with me on policy. They literally hate me personally.
We love you, Mike.
And frankly, they hate many of you. And why? Because we're Republicans, or because we voted for President Trump. And if you don't believe me, come to one of my town halls. We have one tonight. You can read their tweets or watch their videos. But the anger and the hate that is sowed is why a local police officer or sheriff's deputy occasionally is needed to be stationed outside my home. It's not normal, and it's not healthy. We should be able to disagree about policy without sowing discord and hate. The hatred that has flown within our country over these past many years over politics is sad. And it's not serving any of us well. It's why I've said repeatedly, one of my best friends in Congress is a Democrat, Josh Gottheimer, lives 20 minutes from here. Why? Not because we agree on everything, but because we respect each other. And we respect not just the areas of agreement, but the differences. Disagreement is a good thing. Anybody who's ever been married knows you are not going to agree with your spouse 100% of the time. So I've never understood why anybody would believe that you will agree with a politician 100% of the time. It's not possible. But these are the stakes in this election. They are real, and they are serious. Losing is not an option. And that's why it's a good thing that this team knows how to win. And guess what? We are going to win again in November. When I ran for the state assembly in 2020, some people thought I was nuts. Probably even a few of you in this room. But despite running against an entrenched 14-year incumbent, and in a district where Democrats outnumber Republicans better than 2-1, we won. And in doing so, I was the only Republican in New York State to flip in a seat in the assembly that year. 2 years later, when I threw my hat in the ring for Congress, it was an even steeper climb. My wife and I had just had our first daughter, Juliana, and the maps were thrown out, and they were released a month after Juliana's birthday, which will be next week. So happy birthday, Juliana. And I was sitting on the assembly floor, and I looked at the map. I said, oh, all of Rockland, northern Westchester, Putnam. Township justice. I could win that. I had no idea what the demographics were, the voter enrollment. I just looked at the geography. And I sent a picture of the map to my wife via text. She texted back, "I don't care what you run for as long as you win." And Joe Biden had won this district by 10 points in 2020. My opponent was a powerful politician with a bottomless bank account. And the pundits gave us almost no chance. But we won again, pulling off a huge upset and becoming the first Republican in 40 years to defeat the sitting chairman of the DCCC. And not only did we defeat Sean Patrick Maloney, we ended Nancy Pelosi's reign as Speaker. But in 2024, the naysayers once again made us the underdog, running in a presidential year against a former congressman with high name ID in a district with 80,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans. But you know what? We won again, and we won big. And we did it by calling out the National Democratic Party for what it's become. Dangerously anti-police and anti-law enforcement, and obsessed with punishing working people to give handouts to those who refuse to work. And in doing so, I was one of only 3 Republicans in the entire country to win a congressional district that Kamala Harris also won. Now, I walk you through this today for a reason, because we didn't win those races by accident. We won them because we built a brand that appeals across party lines to common sense Democrats whose party nationally has abandoned them. We won them because the people of the Hudson Valley value someone who is pragmatic, principled, honest, and puts people before partisan politics. And we won them because we didn't just point fingers. We solved problems. We didn't just talk. We delivered. We delivered by quadrupling the SALT deduction, expanding the child tax credit, offsetting Social Security taxes for our seniors, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. We saved middle-class families and seniors thousands of dollars, and folks, don't let the Democrats tell you that this tax bill was about giving tax breaks to billionaires. Not one of you in this room are a billionaire, and every single one of you got a tax cut. We delivered by passing bipartisan, common sense gun safety laws that were first ushered in by President Reagan, making our schools and stadiums safer. We delivered by securing over $1 billion for local hospitals and nursing homes to ensure continuity of care for patients in need. We delivered by bringing back over $212 million to our rural hospitals throughout the state of New York. And we delivered by standing up to my own party to protect access to affordable health care, protecting Social Security and Medicare, and strengthening Medicaid by rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse. And we delivered tens of millions of dollars in federal funds to upgrade roads, bridges, schools, and mental health services across the Hudson Valley. We delivered by investing and standing with local law enforcement and first responders to help keep our community safe. And we delivered by solving over 8,500 individual constituent cases and bringing back over $45 million in benefits that constituents are due. And as I mentioned before, we delivered by stopping an insane plan to make Rockland a sanctuary county for criminal illegal immigrants like New York City or San Francisco. Folks, Rockland County and the Hudson Valley are my home. It is the place where I was born, the place that I was raised. I want to thank my mom, Marie, who's here today. And it's the place that Doina and I are raising our family now, and I want to thank my in-laws, George and Elena, who are here, because I can assure you, I could not do this job without them. And today is Orthodox Easter, so Christos Andiat. Folks, it's been the greatest honor of my life to represent our shared communities in Congress. Like many of you here today, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. But sometimes I did get a wooden spoon to my ass. Maybe more than once. I was raised to believe in hard work, personal responsibility, and giving back. Like every family, mine faced tough times, and we battled through them together. In the Hudson Valley, I know neighbors could be Democrats or Republicans, but still invite each other over for backyard barbecues, sit next to each other at church, console each other after the tragedy of 9/11, and welcome home soldiers who went overseas to defend our freedom, no matter which president sent them. We could disagree without being disagreeable. We were Americans first. I know in my heart we can get back to that place. Moreover, I know I am the right person to help lead us there. With your support, we will win in November, and we will continue to lead this nation forward for future generations. I am proud to be your voice in Washington, and I thank you for your support.